is Veterans Onward to Prosperity, and I'm your host, Master Sergeant Retired Anna Maria Bliven. Very privileged to have with us in the virtual studio today Robert Blakely, better known as the Blakester. Welcome to the show, Robert.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it, Emma.
You know, you're doing some really cool stuff in the world today, but can we just back up a little bit and talk about your experience in the Army? What'd you do?
Well, as far as the military is concerned, I spent 5 years in there. I was Air Defense Artillery. I actually originally got into the military in El Paso, Texas. They shipped me off to Fort Sill, Oklahoma for basic training. Because I was in Air Defense, they shipped me right back home to El Paso for AIT. The funny, cool story about that was, everything that they told us in AIT that we couldn't do, like drive or smoke or go off post, I got to do all that. So it was kind of neat. After AIT, they shipped me off to Germany. I was stationed in Kitzingen there for 3 years. I was married. That's why I stayed there for 3 years. Then got out and ETS'd in Fort Carson, Colorado back in 95.
Fort Carson, Colorado. Wow.
Exactly.
And Fort Bliss, and you got to be in Germany for a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
during all of that, is there anything that was part of that experience that led you to do what you're doing today?
Honestly, yes. The biggest part about that is the leadership development that we in the military learned. That was key for me at one point in time. Not that my story was the greatest story, but I know that we all have our stories. For me, I found a big problem with my leadership that I had while I was in the military. That's why I only lasted 5 years, unfortunately, because for myself, I loved it. To me, it was just like being a big Boy Scout, even though I'd never been a Boy Scout. You got to go camping, drive around big tanks, and fire big guns. So I enjoyed it, but what I didn't like was the psychology aspect of it and the people that were above you that were dumb as a box of rocks, as we like to say. And it kind of scared me being at that time a Desert Storm. I hate to say this, and I say this lightly, but I was in fear that the comrade next to me would be the person that would get me killed. And for that reason, I was like, nah, I just can't handle any more of that stupidity in my experience. But at one point in time, I had been, busted down from E4 to E1, back up to E4, busted down again. I was the L rank in his at one point in time. So, I was the person that whenever the NCOs were out, and I would have to go march the troops, lead the troops, that kind of thing. So that was very huge for me. Leadership development, obviously, you can't get much better than that.
No.
But yeah, that was a huge part, huge part.
So today, what is it you're doing exactly?
Well, I like to boast that I'm a sales psychology coach. So what I primarily do is have students that I teach them the ins and outs of online marketing. In fact, today we started a new course that I called Starting from Scratch. This course is designed to take anybody that has had zero to, years of experience through the A's to the Z's on what to expect, what to look for, the mindset that needs to happen, the psychology behind things, the tools that are needed, things of that nature. I do also have affiliate marketing programs that I'm a part of. I'm very big into asset accumulation, and what I mean by that is collecting gold and silver. I pay attention and have paid attention for many years the economy. I'm not very political, and I never have been, even being in the military. I never had that need, want, or desire, right? In fact, as far as my political affiliation represent, I only recently started getting into politics since Trump had gone into office. Okay? And we don't have to talk about that. Um, but I think to me, the path that I had was in such a way that, beyond the military, when I got out, I did 18 years of door to door experience. So I literally went and pounded on doors, and I became extremely successful with that. And I learned a lot of the insides and outs and nuances of what we call a sale, right? I learned the psychology about it, how to stand in a door how to hold your binder, what to say, when to say it, where to point, all these little nuances that throughout time I developed bigger and better skill set. So to me, being on this path, I would be a fool and I would be stupid if I didn't leave some kind of legacy. And the only kind of legacy that I know how to leave is the knowledge that I've gained and gleaned over the past 30 plus years. So I love to help people. I genuinely am out there to help people. I want to see if you've got a business, you don't know what the heck you're doing. Okay, well, let me plug you into the right place, or you need help with this. Okay, well, I've experienced that because I've been online for 15 plus years. As I was mentioning in my training today, I remember back when all we had was HTML. Then came audio, then came video, right? So I had to learn all of these little nuances and things that we as entrepreneurs or even online business owners or offline business owners have to learn. And I mentioned there's only three ways for us to do that. We have to number one, learn it ourselves. Number two, outsource it. Or three, we do a combination of both, right? So I want to be that voice for people. I know that from my experience and the people that I talk to, everybody tells me that I give fantastic training. It's always to the point. It's very relative. People understand it. It's not fancy lingo. So, people are like, huh, what did you say? So I love that. And ultimately to me, my payment, I'm not out there like looking for millions of dollars, although I get paid very well for what it is that I do. I get a personal satisfaction when I help, let's say, somebody like you and or any of my other students, and they come back to me and say, "Wow, Robert, what you taught me really changed my life. I went out there, I did it, and now all of a sudden I'm getting these sales in my business." I love that. That is what I call my emotional payment that I get for helping people, right? So that's why I do what I do. I love genuinely helping people. I don't want to
I
see
can
people
I
out
can
there
relate to
failing.
that. I definitely can relate to that. Let's continue this conversation in just a minute after these messages.